you, friends. Shabbat shalom, and greetings to you all. Well, we're in the midst of a celebratory period. And I love the celebrations that each week brings, and it seems each week brings new ones. Now, we just had the very quiet, hardly mentioned twin celebrations of Israel on its 78th anniversary, when politicians pretending to stand against the hatred that has gripped North America, Europe, and pretty well much of the world, made sure to show up to synagogues to have their photos taken as they pretend to support Israel. But where have they been, especially since October 7th or during any of these past 2.5 years of rampant Jew and Israel hatred and targeting? They count on the brains and memory of the population being equal to an amoeba's, and judging by voting records, they're not wrong. The horrific act of Hamas's genocide has been erased, and it, like climate change and the world on the brink of war, is now Israel's fault. Now more than ever, not just Jews, but anyone who values freedom, democracy, true education, and the power of good should be fighting to stamp out the hatred and shadow casting us into darkness. Long may Israel be that lone bastion on the hill of adversity, a lighthouse for the Jewish people, the world over for all to see, to reach for, to cling to in a world of ever-growing anti-Semitism. Because without Israel, there's nowhere for the Jew to go. It is now a world truly gone wrong. Now, for those who've never been to Israel, these days many are afraid to go, go. You'll be transported to a land where the past meets the future, where the roots of civilization have blossomed into the realm of possibility. Forget hatred. Move past fear. It stems from jealousy. It always has and always will continue to. Now, the world is partially focused right now on the activities dealing with Iran, but not about the fact that for the past 47 years, this nation of hate, fear, and terror has called for the elimination and death of Israel and every Jew, and has sponsored almost all the terrorism, not just in the Middle East, but pretty well everywhere. It was allowed to do so. So why is no one asking why? Why have we allowed this to take place for almost the last 50 years? Why was it allowed to fester and grow and destroy a culture, religious philosophy, and population, and then spread its hate everywhere? It obviously was serving someone's higher purpose. And of course, you can't talk about Iran without talking about the action in the Straits of Hormuz right now, where much of the other side of the world's oil goes through. And it's really quite a spot. I've sailed it several times. On one side is the known modern Mordor, Iran, the once great Persia. On the other, potentially just as dangerous a series of places, although people like to fool themselves into thinking it is not, where you have several of the UAE countries, which have simply become playgrounds of the rich and giant shopping centers. Anywhere there is one-man rule is truly dangerous, as many think North America is drifting towards. My blood so mad, feels like coagulating. I'm sitting here just contemplating. Can't twist the truth, knows no regulation, and a handful of senators don't pass legislation. Marches alone can't bring integration when human respect is disintegrating. Whole crazy world is just too frustrating, but you tell me over and over and over again, my friend, don't believe we're on the eve of destruction. I don't know. Sometimes it feels like we are back on the eve of destruction. Let's rise above the divisiveness of the world. Let's recognize we are the same, parts of a whole. Let's not dwell on the division. Let's instead think of some of the other great celebrations that are coming up that make us happy, like Snoopy's birthday, Brett's birthday, and of course we're coming up on Mother's Day. The best of them all. Do not get her another useless, thoughtless gift. You have time to think about it. Who's more significant in your life than Mother? And as I was reading the Torah in preparation for this week, I was thinking about a couple whose parsha this was for their wedding. Hard to believe, but 13 years ago, and it seems like only yesterday. But each celebration of each spark of love reflects another relationship in our lives. Our lives are reflections of the relationships that we have. So if you feel you haven't celebrated the relationships of your life, do so now. It's never too late. Just as it is never too late to reach out to those who are a part of soul and spirit of our existence. We're always better together than apart, exchanging and sharing the energy of creation. As we come together, like we come together and take this opportunity, putting differences aside, joining as a like-minded group, a collective consciousness of seekers showing faith, any and all faith, love, any and all love, a true chavura. Chavura is fellowship. As we express our nature of kindness, compassion, thoughts, feelings, hopes, dreams, and wishes, because that's what unites us all in this community house of spirit, Beth Ruach, sharing and bringing light, keeping fear at bay. And even though together, we are individual in our approach, each connecting in his or her or their own way. So once again, please do go ahead and invite everybody you know, physically, digitally, psychically, emotionally, spiritually, any way at all, to gather and share. From Psalm 133, the Hine Matov, come together. Hine Matov, Umanai, Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Hine Matov, Umanai, Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. How good and how pleasant it is for brothers and sisters together. Community. 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 Together. We support each other in this community. Let's all spread love, goodwill, and fellowship to the world. Remember, friends, this is you setting aside a little bit of sacred time in your sacred space to honor and converse with whoever, whatever you happen to believe in, because we all believe in something, believe it or not. That's a part of your kavanah, your intention that you put out to the universe. It's your goodwill. Goodwill and intention are the roots of what you can control, of what you can correct. It is your intention that sets in motion everything that occurs in your lives, my friends. And it is goodwill, energy, light that we all send out to help heal whoever you know that needs healing. Because healing and renewal is for everyone. It floats through space, finding those in need. So send it out for those you know, for the souls and spirits of everyone you love. Think of whoever that needs healing and renewal and love, or even just plain goodwill. Focus on them. Call their names. It's not just for people. It is for our pets. It is for the earth. It is the healing of the world, the tikkun olam that is part of our spiritual genetic makeup. But part of the healing of the world is when we send thoughts and energy for health and renewal and goodwill for everybody. It's the prayer for the sick, but they don't have to be sick, because it's for those in our hearts and our minds. Let's all send energy out for the people in need everywhere. Special thoughts and prayers always for those in need of assistance. And we all know people in need of assistance. We pray for those who need prayer. We don't have to know them, because we want health, recovery, good life for everybody around us, for those close to us. For Fairy Godmother, bringer of joy to others, but lost in her own world of despair and fear. For the one and only Leo, confident, in charge, a shining light who's always willing to share. For the Kabbalah Club, studying to know everything they can. For Alan, Sherry, and Corey. For Gabby, for Pinky, for Gustav, Lori, for Lily, Giggles. For Carson and Alana, for Snoopy, the Elfin, for MW. For dear Ainura and Winston, beacons on the hill for those who need support. For Roberta, for John and Fern, John and Maria, Doria and Gloria. For Connie, Ronnie, Tally, Mayim, for beautiful but sad Nina, for Linda and Danny, for all those suffering and in need. Let's not forget to include the familiars of our lives, all of our sacred animal friends everywhere, for everyone you know in need, for the whole world, and for the ever-hidden Rosemary. We pray for those who need prayer, friends. It is the kindness, the healing, which is goodwill and love we all send out. It just circles the world, finding those in need. So thank you, each of you, for all you do, for all you care. Because the world is a world of spirit, and spirit, my friends, never dies. Me, Shaberach. Avotenu Makor HaBracha Limotenu. May the source of strength who bless the ones before us. Help us find the courage. Make our lives a blessing. The renewal of body. Renewal of spirit. Let us say, Amen. Misha Baruch, let us all have our spirits renewed. This is the great prayer for healing. Would you call upon God to heal as He has healed before? Misha Baruch, may He who blessed, because all healing is a blessing. Let's all send and receive healing and renewal energy, and our efforts to love, to share, to care, to grow. Now, believe it or not, this week is another double reading as the book of the priests, Leviticus, winds down with just 2 more weeks. Then we can resume the story, the journey, the search we are all on for the promised land. Now, we just read about dermatological issues, and now we're going to move in another direction as we read acharei, kedushim, after the death, holy. Much more interesting combined title than separate, because it is what we do. After the death of someone, we beatify them. But that's not the real topic here. But it is one of the things that we should be addressing at some point in time as to why we don't tell the people what they mean while they're still alive. But this isn't about that. This is about the holidays. Leviticus 16:1, and the Lord spoke to Moses after the death of Aaron's 2 sons, when they came forward in front of the Lord and died. The topic of the week is the holidays, especially the Day of Atonement. The holiday that supplanted freedom is the most important, and the statement by God that so often is forgotten, we are all holy. We're actually given a quick chance to see ourselves, to pre-examine ourselves before atonement comes. I'm sure you will discover things about yourselves, your families, your relationships. You may find what the Talmud talks of. That is the surest path to a peaceful home and soul is kindness. But almost a greater lesson is learning that the second most important characteristic needed to achieve peace, indeed to benefit any personal relationship, is to become proficient in the art of silence. Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again because a vision, softly creeping, left its seeds while I was sleeping, and the vision that was planted in my brain still remains within the sound of silence. It's why we have meditation, why we practice mindfulness. The Talmud, the Psalms, they all encourage silence. We have to watch our words. Words and speech hurt. We spend much of the Day of Atonement trying to make up for what we said when we did not hit the pause button at the time. Take the time to think before speaking. We see that again this week. But being in the handbook of the priests, you got to find it. At first, these 2 parshas give more rules and regulations because that's what the handbook of the priest is about. Now, I was speaking with a great teacher. We talked about the phrase being cut off. It is a term often encountered, especially in this book. And we talked about, the ones that it specifically is referring to, which is the blind and the deaf. About it being individualized through Jesus healing the blind, raising the dead. But we have to look past the basic meanings and see what the Torah talks about. And what we are so often guilty of is when we have not seen and our eyes are opened, we have not listened, then we get that Archimedes aha moment and understand. We see, we hear that which we closed ourselves to. that for which we had the do not disturb sign post us. To the ancient cult member, the threat to be cut off is to be dead. And those are the people who we need to restore, to return, to reintegrate, to bring back those members. Bring them back. We say bringing them back to life, but it just means reintegrating them. Leviticus 19:1. And the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, speak to all the community of Israelites, and you shall say to them, you shall be holy, for I, the Lord your God, am holy. Every man shall revere his mother and father. My Sabbaths you shall keep. What makes us holy? When you read this, you see what it is really decency. You shall not defraud your fellow man, and you shall not rob. You shall not keep the hired man's wages with you through the night till morning. You shall not vilify the deaf, and before the blind you shall not put a stumbling block, and you shall fear your God. I am the Lord. You shall do no iniquity and injustice. You shall not favor the wretched. You shall not defer to the rich. In righteousness you shall judge your fellow. You shall not go about slandering your kin. You shall not stand over the blood of your fellow man. I am the Lord. You shall not hate your brother in your heart. You shall surely reprove your fellow and not bear guilt because of him. You shall not take vengeance. You shall not harbor a grudge against the members of your people. And you shall love your fellow man as yourself. Please tell me what's wrong with any of those. The laws are not presented as a burden, but as a blessing, a mitzvah, a path to life. But what is holiness? Or what was it to biblical man? It might be different to biblical man than it is to us. Is it a philosophy? Maybe a respect for things? Is it a belief? Is it a religious experience? Is it catchable? Well, for biblical man, it was catchable. Holiness was the other side of the contagion of dis-ease. And if you have to catch anything, holiness isn't so bad to catch. But that's for another day. So what's a holy person look like? Do you picture a priest or a nun? Maybe a preacher. Maybe the Maharishi, the Dalai Lama. What is a holy person? My sweet Lord, my Lord, my Lord, really want to know you, really want to go with you, really want to show you, Lord, and it won't take long, my Lord. So what is meant by being holy? This statement that you are holy stands out because perhaps more than any other in the Torah, this small chapter merges so many things. It includes most of the 10 Commandments. Did you catch them? It had some information on sacrifices, justice, caring for the poor and the infirm, treatment of women, the elderly, food, magic, loving one's neighbor as oneself, loving an alien as oneself, all the things that really matter, that really count, that unify us with the whole world together as decent, loving human beings. If one had to choose only one chapter of the Torah to share, to show what this book is about, it might very well be this one. It contains so much. You get a quick list, almost like a machine gun sneeze. Do not turn to idols. Your sacrifice will be eaten on the first and second days. If anything is left on the third day, burn it. When you reap your harvest, do not harvest the corners. Do not gather the gleaning. Leave it for the poor and the alien. You shall not steal. You shall not lie. You shall not act falsely. You shall not swear by the Lord's name falsely. You shall not exploit. All of this is about decency and honor. And then a fascinating disclosure in Leviticus 19:14. You shall not curse a deaf person. You shall not place a stumbling block in front of a blind person. You shall fear your God. Those statements are incredible statements. Don't just think of them in the realm of physical aspects, but in their symbolism. The deaf are those who do not hear. The blind are those that do not see. And it may be that most of the people you know fall into one or both of those groups at various times. On the micro, physical, individual plane, one might think that he or she has nothing to fear from the deaf or blind. who cannot know who is wronging them, but we are warned that God knows and that you should fear the consequences. On the macro plane, there is a lot of blindness, deafness, and fear-mongering going around the world today. There is an irony in the world. We've just had the holiday dedicated to overcoming fear. But fear is ruling the world right now, and it carries these other problems with it. Only you know what you should be afraid of. No one else knows for you. No one else is you. Fear is individual. For everyone who tells you to fear, there's someone to tell you not to. But friends, look within. Learn to simply trust yourself. Trust yourself. Trust yourself to know the way that will be true in the end. Trust yourself. Trust yourself to find the path where there is no if and when. Don't trust me to show you truth. Truth may only be ashes and dust. If you want somebody you can trust yourself. Well, you're on your own. You always were. In a land of wars and thieves. Don't put your hope in a godly man or be a slave to what somebody else believes. Trust yourself. Often the last person we trust, but the first we say, I should have listened to, is myself. Now, like much of this book geared towards the priest, we learn more about sacrifices, how eating blood is prohibited. We find out about certain sexual relations. But the power of the reading is how we are told how we are holy and how special we are. And we are given that amazing instruction, which many attribute to Jesus, who was simply repeating Leviticus 19 when you're told to love your neighbor as yourself. If you really did, you could not hate, you could not fear, you could not loathe. You would love, but we don't. And there's more. You shall not do an injustice in judgment. You shall not be partial to a weak person. You shall not favor a big person. You shall not judge your fellow with justice. You shall not hate your brother in your heart. You shall not take revenge. You shall not keep on at the children of your people. We have a greater responsibility to the nature of good. We have an obligation to correct and to protect. So there you go. We actually now have the answer to the question in Genesis. We are our brother's keeper. The people of Israel are commanded to love all human beings, not just their own people, no matter how one understands the term. And that is extraordinary. We have seen that the law of Leviticus is pervaded with the notion of distinction between priest and layperson, between holy and secular, between pure and impure, between Israel and other nations, between good and bad. Sometimes simply between permitted and forbidden. We see that with food, with relationships, with sexual encounters, with material, with no reasons given. In this book of division and difference, underpinning the distinctions is principle of equality and treatment for all. Fair, impartial, no ego, no judgment. It is a lesson in law applied with morals, ethics, decency. It is something to unify us, to make the many one. One is the loneliest number that you'll ever do. Two can be as bad as one. It's the loneliest number since the number one. One can be many, but one can stand alone. We are not to take revenge. We're not to mistreat anyone. We're not to keep grudges. No, you are to love your neighbor as yourself. We are to love all human beings, not just our own. This is the extraordinary part of the book where the shift takes place. I mentioned the shift. It's not just law now. Yeah, there's rules, there's laws, there's no mixing, there's no mating, two kinds. Many of the other things people love to quote as reasons for things. But it is no longer just straight law. There is this underlying pattern of application from a much bigger perspective, the perspective we sometimes can't see. Yes, my friends, the world is sacred. So is everything in it. Express your gratitude, light a candle, make a wish. Celebrate your life and the lives of those you love. Share your feelings with them. Live free, be free, and honor your freedom. Be well, be happy, be blessed. Share and honor the light, all who live in the light. Continue to shine. We all shine. Continue to send everybody, goodwill and love. Pray for peace. Pray for freedom for everyone, and end to terror and hatred. Remember, we're a community, my friends. We learn together. We celebrate with each other. We love each other. We share this ride together, men and women equally. Let's send out love, not fear. Send out peace, harmony, goodwill, and healing to all who need it. And please do learn to forgive and learn to love, including yourself. Open your hearts. Honor the relationships of your life. Tell those you love that you love them. Examine your intentions. Use them to imprint your will on the universe, because we set in motion all that happens in our lives. It is our intention, our kavana, our cause, our effect. It's all connected. It's all linked. You have time to forgive and to be forgiven. You have the knowledge of what's good and bad. So acknowledge what you have done wrong to yourself, to God, to any person you've wronged. Ask forgiveness. But always do so with sincerity, accountability, and vulnerability. Forgive those who've hurt you as you learn to be forgiving and compassionate. Because the secret of forgiveness, compassion, and peace is in acceptance. Can you accept yourself, other people, the world, just as they are? Can you accept life as it is without trying to control it? If you do, you can experience the peace that acceptance brings. So keep on dreaming, my friends. Keep on being, keep sharing, keep shining, keep teaching. Keep spreading joy and goodwill. Do not follow fear. Follow love. It's always in front of you. Work to be present in the body. Expand your heart. Quiet your mind. Because the deepest source of your real power lies in your consciousness, in your ability to be mindful, to be aware, to be present in all of life's circumstances. Love with the heart. We're all part of a greater whole. Embrace love, not fear. Forgiveness, not anger. Be there for someone, because someone will always be there for you, whether you know it or not. Continue to explore faith and belief. Never accept shame as a natural state. Whatever you feel, others have felt. Whatever you've experienced, others have too. We share together. We learn together. We help each other because we are each of us trying to find love and acceptance and support. We all have or could have that special someone in our lives, so find them, tell them what they mean. You're never alone on your journey. Keep forgiving those you need to forgive, and keep asking forgiveness from those you need to ask forgiveness of. Listen to the voice of God as he talks to you. Never stop asking questions. Do not gossip. Do not slander. Do not invite impurity into your lives. Continue to think before you speak, because your words can and will empower and free you. They say every man needs protection. They say every man must fall. Yet I swear I see my reflection somewhere so high above this wall. I see my light come shining from the west down to the east. Any day now. Any day now. I shall be released. Put your faith in God. You shall be released. Well, thank you for joining me, my friends. Keep sharing the light. Practice forgiveness. Be thankful, be gracious, be kind, be loving. Believe in yourself. Spread a little goodwill to the world. Continue to be the miracle in someone's life. And acknowledge your own holiness. Shabbat shalom and blessings to you all. Take care. Thanks.